Good morning and welcome to Take Your Life Back. Today's show with your host, me, Ralf Friedrichs. Today we're going to touch a subject on 5 reasons sobriety is awesome. And this was written by a person who's been sober for 7 years, and I'm going to read part of it to you and then go over the 5 reasons. But first and foremost, Larry Geis is an addiction recovery coach. Larry Geis is a life coach. You can find him at 516-485-2741. That's 516-485-2741. You can also find him on the internet at www.odysseyconsultant.org. That's www.odysseyconsultant.org. Larry Geis can and will help you with your recovery. He will walk with you from your addiction to your recovery, step by step, day by day. He will never ever talk about your past. It is not a great idea to do that. He will concentrate, as I do, on today and worrying about tomorrow. Get in touch with Larry Geis at the Geis Academy at 516-485-2741. That's 516-485-2741. And you can go find him on the web at www.odysseyconsultant.org. GlobalEyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money, folks. New program launched 2 weeks ago. If you want to try the frames on at home, all you have to do is hit home trial on the frame that you like. Pick out a few, have them sent to your house. Whatever you don't like, send them back for 100% full refund. No obligations. There's even going to be a return shipping label in the box to send those frames back. So what do you have to lose? Nothing at all. Show them to your friends, show them to your family. Look in the mirror, see what it looks like. Once you like the frame that you like, or the frames, you might want more than one because it's always a good idea to have 2 pairs of glasses, at least one clear and one sunglass. Sunglasses are very important. Then call or go on the internet. If you want to go on the internet, it's www.globaleyeglasses.com. If you want to call, like over 120 of you folks have done already, for me to help you with selecting your lenses, you can reach me at 844-405-HELP or 631-599-0218. Let me help you. They have over 1,200 frames or so. Prices go down from $6.99 all the way up to $49.99 for the frames. And they have progressives, they have transitions, they have photochromatics, they have UV coated, they have scratch coated, they have anti-reflecting coated, they have polarization. They have, I already said, transition to high index to make the lenses thinner, all at globaleyeglasses.com. Reach out to them, try their home trial frames. You have nothing to lose. Whatever you don't like, send back for 100% refund, and their shipping label is in the box. That's globaleyeglasses.com, where they are focused on saving you money. Folks, 5 reasons sobriety is awesome. This is from Amber. She wrote this, and this short snippet that I'm going to read. 5 Reasons Sobriety is Awesome by Amber. Not drinking has many perks. Here are 5 of them. I have been sober almost 7 years, and sobriety has been great, but what the heck? My question is to everybody. I mean, where's my stuff? The nice apartment, the relationships, the career, and everything. I am completely obsessed with what I don't have, and it's turning me into a person I don't want to be. Let me read this again. I am completely obsessed with what I don't have, and I'm turning to a person I don't want to be. Sorry, folks. A whiny victim. It's like I have forgotten everything I was grateful for early in sobriety, and I am completely blanking out the stuff that I have gotten since I quit drinking, including my nice apartment, relationships, and my career. I am not grateful for it, so I forget about it. I want to feel better during the times in my life when I'm not getting exactly what I want. I think this means I'm going to have dig a hole of gratitude and bathe in it for a very long time. Gross? I don't want to. I want to be edgy and messed up and hate everything and act real cool and pretend to not care about how I messed up things are. Sometimes I can trick myself into thinking that I am grateful for little things. It means I'm content and won't work hard on other goals. If I am grateful that I have some clothes and a toilet, that means that all I'll ever have is just those 2 things. All the self-help blah, blah, blah. You read is true. Gratitude changes you. It makes you a nicer person. It makes you appreciate things you normally would ignore. It frees you up. It frees up your creativity because you're not wasting your brain energy hating people or things. There was a magical time in early sobriety where I have had more wisdom than I do now. Maybe it's because I have just stepped out of the darkness and was just grateful to not be drinking. I forgot what it was really like to want to remember all these things. And these are 5 things that make sobriety awesome. And I want to, she says, rekindle my relationship with sobriety. 7 years, you seem to forget things, and you'll then suddenly remember how great it was the first year. So here are Amber's 5 things why sobriety is awesome. She titles number 1 as not being hungover. Waking up with a clear mind and no regrets instead of coming to in a terrified panic state is glorious. I love waking up and knowing where I am, making a plan for the day as opposed to having to figure out what I did the night before. I have forgotten about the panicked way I checked my phone. Who did I call? What did I text? Or, oh great, looks like I called the person who brings me the most pain 20 times and God knows what I had said to that person. I texted them that I loved them, then I texted them that I hated them. It's cruel. I'm just crazy and messed up and eccentric and special. Yeah, justify, romanticize it. And maybe start drinking again because I can't handle anything. My mornings went like this. No way. I can't believe I said that. Or I did what with who in the public restroom, she says. Is that even physically possible? It's like waking up and having an argument with another person and that person is you. A different version of you that you cannot get rid of, and you feel that you are schizophrenic. The voice in my head would only produce the meanest, most hopeless words, sort of like that voice in Birdman, but with a more nasal tone. My hangovers turned into long nightmares, living nightmares. Sometimes I'd spend 2 days in bed before I was ready to leave the house again, and I'm just remembering this now. My behavior after the night of drinking was sometimes worse than it was when I was drunk. Grumpy, distant, resentful, scared, paranoid, empty, and completely self-obsessed. I want to remember how bad hangovers are so I can be grateful for the person who I am and not hungover anymore. Now that I am aware, willing to change, and genuinely wanting to help others. The old hangover me would want to stab the sober me in the face. That's a little graphic. Amber's number 2, looking good. Why not add a little vanity to the gratitude list? I'm grateful for my face is no longer bloated. I used to look like I had a blind, trigger-happy Botox doctor. My face was huge and my skin was stretched to maximum capacity, trying to contain the bloat and excess fluid from exploding out of my skin. I no longer have mystery bruises all over my body. I used to wake up wondering if I got into a fight, but then a friend informed me that I threw myself down the stairs because I was pretending to be a stunt person. I'm sure it was hilarious and worth to see. The bags under my eyes have decreased by at least 75%, and the red blotches I used to get all over my neck and chest are no longer there. I don't sweat like a pig when I walk down the street, and the color of my skin has returned to normal. My eye makeup is on my eyes and not on my forehead, and my hair only sometimes has crumbs in them. That was number 2. Number 3, relationships with other sober people. It has taken me a long time to want to be friends with other sober people. Not that I ever thought anything was wrong with it, I just didn't think I needed them as real friends. I knew they could help me, but I didn't want to build a relationship with them. I already had friends, mostly normal people and active alcoholics. I work in the industry where you can create an image of being drunk and get paid lots of money for it. I like that idea. And honestly, alcoholics are very interesting people who keep other people in their lives on their toes. But after a few years of drunks doing to me what I did to others when I was drunk, I was like, oh right, I know this game. I used to play it and it's never going to end. The highs, the lows, the drama and the fun, the nightmare, the delusional thinking and the confusion. Are they crazy or am I crazy, I would ask. I started hanging out with sober people and really hated it. To be able to, I started hanging around with sober people and it's really great, incredible. I can't use the word, it's the F word that she wrote, so I'm just going to say it's effing incredible. To be able to say your horrible truth to someone and they laugh and then tell you theirs is beautiful. The transparency and the honesty is awesome. It feels like you're putting all the inspiration you need to stay sober into your heart. Sitting and talking with another sober person sometimes reminds me what it was like when I connected with other people at the bar after a few drinks. The jokes flow, maybe a little oversharing happens, and this cheesy feeling you get me washes over you. Except you don't black out and you have sex with the person that you would never talk to again. You don't do anymore. Before I quit drinking, even in early sobriety, I used to think of sober people as squares, self-righteous, and judgmental. But in its furthest thing from the truth, I have learned. Most of them have done really disgusting things and have the most insane stories, as they won't judge you for all the bad stuff you have done because they have done double. And they have a pretty good idea of how alcoholism works. So they're more understanding of someone else's drinking because they are experienced the indisness of the disease themselves. I am grateful I've opened up to having closer relationships with them. Amber number 4, having the guts to make hard decisions. One of the hardest and most beautiful things about sobriety is awareness, mostly about yourself. I've learned some harsh truths about myself that I used to drown with booze because it was too painful to even admit. I've realized that I am manipulative, jealous, and make myself small for others so they feel good about themselves. I also blame others for my problems, and I am always looking for ways to cut corners in work situations. Pretty gross and not fun. But the magic is the shift that begins to happen when you recognize that bad patterns and make choices that move you out of your defects and closer to better yourself. I've slowly experienced this throughout my sobriety, and I sometimes forget how far I've come as a sober person and as a human. This may sound like bragging, but I think it's good to give yourself a pat on the back because it is too easy to think you're a piece of, I don't want to use the word, poo, even in sobriety. And to go against the bad behaviors that you've used to, whether they are survival skills you have developed as a kid or from another time when they used to work for you, to be willing to change them for a sole fact that you want to be a better person is courageous. It might not be cool and edgy, but I'll take change destructive behavior over drunken night any time, any day of the week. And number 5 that she has written, not wanting or needing to drink. The most important one. The fact that I don't want or need a drink is, I don't want to use the word, is a G-damn special miracle. Wanting and needing a drink ruled my life for about a decade, and that obsession has been lifted. I don't know where it went. I like to think it's buried in a bad obsession cemetery. And I still visit it and put flowers under its grave because I respect it. I know it can rise from the dead and take over my brain again at any time. I need to create a wall of awareness and gratitude around me so the damn demons don't get in when they come knocking. I'll be like, hi demon, it's nice to hear from you again, but I'm feeling pretty good right now, so please go away. Okay, that's it. I hope this helps other people, Amber writes, if they are feeling a little antsy in sobriety. And I also hope it helps anyone who wants to get sober. This was directly from Amber, and I'm going to cover it real quickly again. I'm just going to give you the beginning of it and then the 5 quick reasons sobriety is awesome. Amber writes, I've been almost sober for 7 years, and I say, what the heck? I mean, where's my stuff? The nice apartment, the relationships, the career, and everything else. I am completely obsessed with what I don't have. It's turning me into a person I don't want to be. A whiny victim. It's like I have forgotten everything I was grateful for in early sobriety about 6 years ago. I want to feel better during the times of my life when I am not getting exactly what I want. So, I have come up with 5 reasons why sobriety is awesome. Number 1, Amber writes, is not being hungover. Waking up with a clear mind, no regrets, instead of coming to and in a terrified panic state of glory and glorious. I love waking up and knowing where I am, making a plan for the day, as opposed to having to figure out what I did the night before. Who did I call? Who did I text? How many times did I tell the person that I don't like most how much I loved them, and then told them I hated him? Amber writes, number 2 on her list is looking good. Why not add a little vanity to the gratitude list, she writes. I am grateful my face is no longer bloated. I used to look like a blind, trigger-happy Botox doctor. My face was huge and my skin was stretched to the maximum capacity, trying to contain the bloat of excess fluid exploding out of my skin. It is nice, she writes, to be able to wear makeup on my eye and not on my forehead. Number 3, she writes, relationships with other sober people. She writes, I've always thought that other sober people would judge her, would crucify her. But then she realized that these sober people she has met now are all people that understand her disease because they have the disease. These are people that can tell stories that you might even have or that Amber had. So it makes it so much easier to talk to people. Number 4 on her list was having the guts to make hard decisions. One of the hardest and most beautiful things, she writes, about sobriety is awareness, mostly about yourself. Amber has learned some harsh truths about herself, and she used to drown herself in alcohol like most of us have. Then she realized that jealous and she can make herself jealous and make herself small for others so they would feel good about themselves. She writes, I also blame others for my problems, and I'm always looking for ways to cut corners in work situations. Pretty gross and not fun, she writes. But the magic is the shift that begins to happen when you recognize how bad patterns make the choices to move out of your defects and close to the better yourself. And that is what sobriety is all about, she writes. And number 5, and I feel the most important, she writes, is not wanting or needing a drink. The fact that I don't want a drink, she writes, or need a drink is, I don't want to use the word, it's G-damn special miracle. Wanting and needing a drink ruled my life for about a decade, she writes, and the obsession has been lifted. I don't know where it went. I like to think it was buried in a bad obsession cemetery, she writes, and I'm still visiting it and putting flowers on a grave because I respect the disease that's buried within this cemetery. I know it can rise from the dead and take over my brain anytime it wants to. I need to create, she writes, a wall of awareness and gratitude around me, so when the demon that's going to rise possibly from the grave, the demon called alcoholism, and be knocking at the door again, I'll say, hi demon, it's nice to hear from you again, but I'm feeling good right now, so please go away. Okay, Amber writes, that's it folks. I hope this helps other people feeling a little antsy in sobriety, and for people that are looking towards sobriety, I hope it helps you. Amber spent probably a good amount of time writing this. I found this on the Sober Nation, and I thought I'd share it with you because how true sobriety can feel to you, and how quickly people like Amber that maybe have been sober for 7 years forget the initial sobriety feelings. And it's good to retouch these feelings. I'm now in my second year. So now it's time for me to make sure that I rekindle my relationship with sobriety from the beginning, now again. And then in 2 years again. So we don't want to get too comfortable in our sobriety, so we forget the basics of being around other sober people, the basics of remembering how bad our disease took us, whether it was at bars or talking to other people, how bad it made us look. These are all the things that we need to rekindle in our lives every so often. We don't ever want to get too comfortable in sobriety where we forget the basics, the 24-hour rule, and the rule of constantly living and breathing sobriety. Never forget those things. And if you're thinking about sobriety, these are the things to look forward to. Great physical feelings, great spiritual feelings, financial feelings, relationship feelings. These are all things to look forward to. Your mind becomes crisper. Your days become longer. Your days actually look like you want to live in them, not sleeping away because of your illness of drug abuse and alcoholism. Folks, remember that all good things in life, any changes in life, all happen in very small steps. You need to take the baby steps to achieve your goals in life, whether they're alcoholism or drug addiction battles or financial battles, anything in life, all take small steps to achieve. Perfect example would be, I watched a movie last night, In Pursuit of Happiness. And Will Smith in this movie over and over conquered and worked at trying to achieve his main goal, and that was to land that job. And he did at the end. Folks, this is a perfect example. He never, ever, ever gave up. Even when he was displaying that device he was trying to sell and it wasn't working, he still checked himself into a homeless shelter with his son, put his son to sleep, and worked on fixing it so he could sell it the next time he sees this doctor. And he did for $250. The drive, the ambition that he displayed is the drive and ambition that you need to display in the beginning, in the middle, and always in your sobriety. Never forget where your sobriety started. Be the Will Smith of sobriety. Never ever give up. Because at the end, it'll pay off in anything you do in life. Remember, if you can give me 24 hours of sobriety each and every day, like I am going to give you, my commitment to you is my 24 hours now. And the next day will be a sober day and a better day. And then repeat that pattern over and over and over. And you will achieve what Amber has achieved, the 7 years. But the great thing is that maybe Amber didn't have the opportunity of having someone or some people telling them the information that she's telling you, giving you a hint of how to never get too comfortable in your sobriety. Folks, please be a role model, be that hero to your children by not smoking, drinking, and using profanity in front of them. And I beg of all, never use any physical violence towards anyone in your life. Start thinking positive, and I promise you, my friend, positive things will happen in your life. I hope to God each and every one in my audience today has the best day of their life. But I hope and I pray to my Lord Jesus Christ that you all have a sober day and have a sober rest of your life. And may God bless you.